Okay, that's recording. Hello. So, I felt compelled to come on and talk to you about a video that I've just watched on YouTube by some eBay resellers called Nik and Andrea. You probably know them. I know them because I've been watching their videos for several years. They don't know me, although I've interacted with them once or twice. I'm not a frequent interactor, if you like, but you might be familiar with my name, possibly. But this is a message to you, Nik and Andrea, and anybody else that's watching. I just got to share my few penneth worth. I'm in the process of getting some orders out, which I've got to carry on with. So I'm gonna talk to you while I do it. But I've been selling on eBay for 12 years. I've had an account for over 20. I got it in 2000 or 2001. I love eBay. eBay's in my blood. If you cut me open and rip me apart, you'll find eBay inside me. I love eBay. I've got a lot of admiration for eBay. They've enabled me to do something with my life that I couldn't or possibly achieve anywhere any other way. Maybe through Amazon, but I could never wrap my head around Amazon. I'm more Fleabay. Do you know what I mean? But I've been working on eBay for several years, and it gave me purpose in life. eBay did. It got me out of depression, but sometimes it does things to put you back into depression, and I can see that Nik and Andrea are fighting the emotions of depression because of the treatment they've received from eBay recently, and I have opinions on the matter which are based on experience and observations that I've made in recent times and in the recent past. And it goes like this. I had about 1,200 listings cancelled by eBay 18 months ago due to an issue with VAT, over a VAT number. I'd been registered with the VAT, with the Inland Revenue. I've been paying my VAT every quarter for several years, but they started receiving these letters asking me to put my VAT number in the account, which I said, well, it's there. I'd ring through and I'd speak to the telephone reps, and the reps would go, yeah, we can see it, don't worry about it, it's a glitch. And this went on for days and days and days and days. Every time I put the phone down, I get another email the next day saying I've got to put it in, and I'd ring them back up and have the same conversation. And this went on day after. Eventually I gave up because it's a glitch. I thought, they're telling me it's a glitch. I don't need to do anything. I was so wrong. I should have persisted with the matter, because what happened was that on one Friday afternoon, exactly the day they said it was going to happen, my account was cancelled. Not cancelled, the listings were cancelled. I had no listings, live listings. I thought I panicked, and I relisted everything and put it back in. On the Monday morning, I got no sales over the weekend, and I got back on the phone to them, and I couldn't talk to them. The reps didn't know what they was talking about. They didn't have any information, but I do know one thing. They were being hammered on the telephone by several hundred other eBayers. A lot of noise made about it at the time. In all the bulletin boards and everything in the groups, lots of distressed sellers. And I was one of them. I made a video about it. I've got some videos. I made an update to that video about the whole incident. There's a massive rant, similar to this, really. But I felt compelled to come on today and make this video to basically share with you all what it is that I know. I worked for Americans in the past. I worked in financial services for a company called Charles Schwab, and they're brilliant. The Americans are great. They have a great approach to business. They're very, very black and white. Over here in the UK, especially in financial services, we had like the iron fist in the velvet glove, right? And those, Margaret Thatcher stroked you, and if you crossed the line, then you knew about it. But everything was left down to the individual's discretion to determine whether or not where the line was. That's why we ended up with financial mis-selling scandals in this country and in Europe, because there was no crystal clarity of where the red line was. It was left down to the individual to determine where it was. In America, it wasn't true. The red line was there, and if you crossed that red line, bang, right, you're out, you're finished, destroyed. You will never, ever, ever work in financial services again. You'll never have a financial services account. They murder you. That's what they're like, which is very black and white. Ruthless, absolute ruthlessness, the Americans are. And you're starting to feel it, aren't you, with eBay? And it's not the customer service teams, the people side of it. It's the policies that they put in place and and how they're enforced. And it's this. I saw this thing is building up into a crescendo. There's a lot of people being affected by this in recent times. Nik and Andrea, I'm not surprised that you're affected by it, right? because, and I don't think you realise what it is yet. I put a big post on one of your group, your live stream last night, a big one, Mr. Farmax. You'll see it. I'll try to explain it. About a week ago, I saw a girl in one of the Facebook groups, basically. I think she was an Eastern European girl, been in the UK for about 15 years. As soon as she got here, she set up an eBay account, built up a lovely business, did wonderful, fantastic. We all feel the same way. It was great, isn't it? You know, month-on-month growth and everything. A few issues along the way, a lot of complaints, a lot of moans. But by and large, we've all built good businesses. We've done all right out of it. And then all of a sudden, this girl basically has her account suspended for 4 weeks, and then it's cancelled, completely cancelled, no explanation, no discussion. She can't basically get through to people. They won't even give her a phone number because they've removed it from her account. She can't even talk to them. And it had everything to do with her getting married, and her maiden name changed to her husband's new name. And when she was asked to provide confirmation of who she was, there was a mismatch, and that's it. Finished. And you think, well, why aren't the human beings on the other side of the phone, in the management teams, in the policy teams, why aren't they doing something about it? And I'll tell you why they can't do anything about it, because it's all algorithmic based. I remember this from financial services. We were a paper based service. Customers would phone through, we'd pick up the telephone, take an instruction from the customer, write it down, we'd pass it over to another team, and that team would basically implement the customer's instruction in the stock market, and they'd buy the shares or sell shares on behalf. The Americans took our business over and they automated it so that eventually the customer did it all themselves on the computer screen in their bedroom, and they could buy and sell shares. It was called front office automation. But they have to eventually get to the point where they save labour equivalents by no longer having to put that many people on the telephones. A few years ago, if you remember, eBay put all this self-service question Q&A on their website to allow you to resolve your own query, and they reduced access to the telephone staff, because prior to that, every phone call that the telephone staff picks up was basically a nonsense phone call from their point of view, you know, an unproductive phone call, an unprofitable phone call. They wanted to basically get to the point where they strip out all those inquiries, allow people like us to solve our own problems in Facebook groups and groups that they provided on their website, but they wanted their telephone staff to be involved in outward bound productive selling calls. They wanted to turn them into a profit centre rather than a cost centre, right? And they're not interested in dealing with all the nonsense. They want to grow their business, they want to reduce their overall headcount, and they want to increase the revenue, what they call the share of the wallet. And they do that with all the promotions and that kind of thing. And behind all this are marketing executives who are basically driving the business forward, and basically got a whole teams of project managers. And it gets to the point where they don't want to deal with complex accounts because they're non-productive, they don't earn revenue out of it. So they put logic criteria into the logic of the algorithms, and they allow algorithms to manage certain aspects or functions of the customer service relationship. And in recent times, right, what's happened is that in the US there is the culture of not mis-selling, but counterfeit goods is left to it's on the onus of the company that manufactures that good, right, that item. Nike, for instance, counterfeit Nike training shoes. Nike, it's their job to basically identify who the counterfeiters are, work with the police, and it's a massive cost. So what they've been doing, the likes of Nike, the big brands, got together through their retail associations, and they're basically hijacking legislation to try and force through the policing of the sale of counterfeit goods onto the marketplaces. eBay, Amazon, Facebook, all those kind of places is now the responsibility, or it's going to be the responsibility of these global marketplaces. And so this is the American legislation that's affecting all the countries, because they have to be compliant in all countries around the world wherever they operate. To do that, they're starting off by verifying account holders. So the algorithm, the dialer, will basically dial a telephone number of an account, right, of a telephone number on an account, and they'll phone it once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times. But if you don't answer that phone call on the 3rd time, you trigger one of the criteria within the algorithm and your account's suspended. No human beings are involved in this at all. The only human being that was involved in it was the project manager or the project owner or the sponsor of the project laid down that criteria, or rather a project manager would have brought it together and presented the sponsor with a series of decisions, and he would have decided on one of those responses, and they would know that the impact it would have on an account holder, regardless of the value of the account and the longevity of the account holder and how much revenue he generates. If he has not answered, or her, that phone call from the algorithm dialer for a rep to speak to, you trigger the criteria within the algorithm, your account's blocked, and they don't even know about it. But they don't care. They don't care because you have not complied with their requirements. And the issue behind it is that if there's an account that's selling counterfeit goods, the marketing executive or the senior executive in that function, or the finance director or the marketing, or somebody at the very high level, they could be charged with non-compliance, and they could be locked up in prison. That's the outcome of the laws that they're passing in America. So they're protecting themselves. So the issue that Nik and Andrea have faced is providing confirmation that they are who they say they are, that they live where they say they live, that they bank with who they say they bank with, that they paid the taxes that they say they've paid, and they're having to confirm all of this because of the type of products that they sell, which is resold goods, used goods. And somebody has said to me that the legislation is moving down a particular path where resellers need to be highly concerned for the outcome of this legislation, because if you sell used training shoes, for instance, even though it's a used pair of Nike, you will not be allowed to say, this is the implications of the legislation, you will not be allowed to say in the listing that they're second-hand Nike training shoes, because you're not a registered seller, and you do not have the right to basically sell Nike the brand. You can say that they're training shoes or boots, but you can't say they're Dr. Martin boots, right? So it has big implications for search. This is where some of the American resellers think it's going, and they're waving the flag. They're triggering the warnings, and I can see how they think. The Americans know how the Americans think, and if they're like the canary in the coal face, basically singing a tune to say, "Be aware, this is where it could be going." If you sell brand new Nike and you're a registered Nike retailer, yeah, you can sell them on the marketplace as your legitimate seller, right? You can say they're Nike. It's a bit like Vero at the moment. You can't sell Velcro. You can't sell Touch and Close brand Velcro-like product, but you can't say it's Velcro if it's not Velcro. If it's Velcro, you can, but if it's a cheap version, you can't say get Velcro. They'll just basically cancel the listing, as they do at the moment. You get a Vero. Some of you will probably know it. This is where it's going. So I don't know. I think that Nik and Andrea, you're basically in a position to capture the attention of the seniors. You've already got, by the sounds of it, you've already got somebody listening to you. They've already listened to your eBay message. And like you, right, I love eBay. eBay representatives, I know you're watching this video because you do scour the actual thing. Love you to bits, really do. And I know you love us, right? But and I know that as a business, you have to manage the customer experience in a cost-effective manner, but the algorithms that you're employed are inflexible. They need to allow you, some senior position individuals, managers, the flexibility of going, right, no, this customer's verified everything, I've spoken to him, I'm putting my name on the line, they've ticked this box, that box, and a couple of other boxes. They are genuine. That executive needs the ability to go into the algorithm and release the flag so that they don't have any issues going forward, especially if they're legitimate, genuine people. Traders, you know. I buy everything from UK wholesalers. I carry all my stock. I've got all my invoices. I pay my VAT on time. I'm a model eBayer, as is Nik and Andrea, and all the people that follow them. The vast majority of the professional sellers. We need you to actually champion us as customers, as sellers, and represent us within the organisation. That's what we need you to do, and get the senior managers. And because I know that, so you make the business case, you put forward the argument, they're flexible on that level, a very, very high level. They'll hear you, they'll come back with a response, and they will change things. As long as they know that they're covered, then they will respond accordingly. That's been my experience working for these American people at banks and institutions. They just need reassuring, and you need to actually develop that part of the algorithm that enables us to continue trading without any headaches. And of course, if somebody basically sells a pair of Nike and they shouldn't be saying they're Nike or whatever, then of course you give them a slap wrist, 3 slap wrists, and you're out, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Something like that. Not a complete ban, because you've got entire families that are dependent on this. You know, you've got children and grandchildren, you've got livelihoods, you've got investments, you've got loans, all sorts of things. You could completely destroy and ruin somebody overnight, and they'd be out on the street. They won't be able to pay the mortgage or the rent, and they'll be sitting by the traffic lights begging. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to understand how the impact that your business has on us. And like I said in my previous video, we are like an extension of eBay. We're an extension of your business, and as we go, so goes your business. You know what I mean? So there's a relationship. It works both ways. So we're appealing to you to go and develop this. I don't think it's about Nik and Andrea saying it's about having a UK telephone team for us. I don't think that's important. I think, because if you need to speak to a customer rep, you need to speak to a customer rep regardless of where they are. It's that rep needs to be able to actually escalate the concern to the appropriate team to deal with it. Like, for instance, you've got there's a restricted trading team. I think they're based in Holland. I ended up speaking to them, and I had several conversations with them, and he could see that there was a flag on my account. And he denied it, but I know that he could see it, because a few weeks later I ended up speaking to somebody in Ireland that basically contacted me to say, congratulations, you've got a one-on-one with me for 10 sessions, free 10 sessions. I'm going to help you get your account going. The process, I went through the process as much as I could with her, and at the end of it, the flag, she says, congratulations, the flag has been removed from your account. She told me about the flag. It's been removed and you are now no longer restricted. I thought, thanks very much. I know that you said that I was going to be restricted in the first place, but I didn't believe I was, because everybody kept telling me that I wasn't. And there I was. My account was restricted, and then it was freed of restriction. And by the way, it's been a long haul, but for the last 6 months, my sales are beginning to climb and climb and climb and climb. And I'm kind of back to where I was before they cancelled my listings. Thank you, eBay. I really, really appreciate it. I feel as if I can grow again, I can go somewhere, and I am doing, but I realise, of course, I can't have all my eggs in one basket. You force me to actually spread my investments across other platforms. I still can't wrap my head around Amazon. I'm not an Amazon person. But the thing is, the smart thing to do these days is don't have all your eggs in one basket, because one of these platforms can close you down and you're cancelled. So we're in a cancel culture. That's where we are now. We have to wake up and realise it. When the mindsets that we've got, these mature mindsets, are based on fair play that we acquired as children growing up and going through this. It's different world now. There are red lines all over the place. You cross one of those red lines, you're finished. We have to get that in our heads. There's no flexibility on that level, because it's all app and algorithm based, and now there's an AI layer on top of it, and it's going to be, you'll get to the point where you'll never ever in a million years ever speak to a eBay rep again, because they'll get rid of them on account of the fact that they don't need them, because all the AI robots will be running the show at eBay. We're going into an artificial world, so there'll be artificial customer services. That's where we've got to be. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's my piece. Please feel free to subscribe, to like, to share, and ask me some questions, because sometimes I have a perspective on things which is useful for debate. It doesn't mean I'm right, it doesn't mean I'm wrong. It's just a view. That's all it is. It's an opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinions, We're all entitled to our opinions, and I don't always agree with my own opinions. So there we go. All right, folks. I'm gonna switch off, and I'm gonna speak to you later. Thank you. Bye.